we had met with someone called Mr. Nagarajan Prakasham, who is the main mentor at NSRCL IM Bangalore. He's a brilliant angel investor. I think he's on the board of Indian Angels Network as well. Has, is a great man. I mean, he's invested in, I think, 14, 15 different companies. And one of the first things that he told us, one of the first lessons that he told us was never do anything for free. You know, uh, go and sell from day one. Although he's not a sales guy or something like that, he's a very social entrepreneurship kind of a guy, wears chappals to office, that kind of a guy, very very humble, right? But the first thing that he told us was sell from day one. Don't do anything for free. You don't owe anyone anything for free. You might screw up real bad, but that's still fine, because now you've sold something to someone, they've given you money, so you're liable to deliver the best to them. So that also gives you a lot of pressure to deal with, right? Don't do anything for free.
Our guest today, Ruhan, is the co-founder and chief marketing officer of MyCaptain, a platform which facilitates mentorship and offbeat career paths. He's a mentor himself and has guided several young startups on business models, product development, operations, and marketing. His journey, which started off with an aspiration to be a writer, has led him to help thousands more in following their dreams. He has recently been featured in the Forbes India 30 Under 30 Special Mention Edition of 2021 and has also given several guest lectures at prestigious universities across India. Today we talk about the future of EdTech, ways in which MyCaptain is helping students follow their passion, how can one sell their product, and much more. And now you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button and the post notification bell, and let's get started with today's podcast. Hey Ruhan, welcome on to the Career Show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and being here.
Thank you so much, Dishank, for this. I've been looking forward to this. I think we got a little delayed, but thanks to COVID and all the other situations around it. But I mean, finally we're doing this. I'm really glad about it.
I'm so glad we made this happen as well. But yeah, let's get right into it. Let's start off by talking about your educational background. Because I know you did engineering, you did your MBA from IIM.
That's a misconception. So I did my engineering. So I'll just take it a little slowly, because that's a very interesting story. I actually wanted to be a writer when I was in school. After which, obviously, I couldn't convince my parents for that kind of a career journey. Because parents in India are not like, okay, fine, become the next Arundhati Roy or become the next Vikram Seth or something like that. So I was sent into engineering primarily because I was actually supposed to be a doctor, because my entire family has a very, very strong medical background. But then I could not become a doctor because I was very scared of blood. So I was sent for the obvious next option, which was engineering. And I was sent to Chennai for engineering, BTech in electronics and communication, which I had no interest or drive for. And during my education there in SRM University, Chennai, I met some amazing people who wanted to be writers, designers, bloggers, fashion people, people who wanted to be in advertising or whatever. But all of them were studying, or photographers, for example, all of them were studying the same things that they were not interested in, which is a very common problem. And no one was talking about it, unfortunately. It was only being talked about inside colleges, but not at the EdTech level. And me and my co-founders met at that point of time, and we said, hey, let's change things about it. So we started a college magazine first, and then that failed badly. Then we started a lot of events. We were very successful in events. We did something like 10 events with 1,000 people each in each and every event. And these were all paid events. So we built a very strong student organization and a student community at that point of time. But then that was not very scalable. So we moved into what we're doing right now. So we pitched the idea in IIM Bangalore's, B-Plan Competition Fest.
Correct.
Back in 2015, which is called Buzz Wings. And we won that. We were the youngest winners. We were 19, 20-year-olds at that point of time, 19-year-old, by the way, at that point of time. And we won that. And there were 400 plus startups and, a lot of ex-Harvard people and whatnot who wanted to, kind of rekindle the entrepreneurship kida, as we call it in India. But then we won it, and they offered us incubation at IIM Bangalore, which is basically a 1-year period where you stay inside IIM Bangalore in the NS Raghavan Raghavan Center for Entrepreneurship and Learning, which is the official incubation center for IIM Bangalore. And we accepted it. Obviously, it was IIM Bangalore. So we spent almost 2 years there, which is equivalent to an MBA. But some people get confused and they say, hey, you've done your MBA from IIM Bangalore. No, we have taught in guest lectures, we've taught some MBA students at IIM Bangalore and Symbiosis and other places, but we've not studied at IIM Bangalore. Neither me nor my other co-founders are MBA graduates.
I think this is the thing about Indian media, because when I was doing my research, it clearly said you did your MBA from IIM Bangalore, and people have just confused that incubation as an MBA period. Do you want to talk about what an incubation is and how it's different from an MBA? Because this just tells me that people have no idea what an incubation of entrepreneurship idea is.
When it comes to incubation, incubators can be, both private as well as associated with institutions or universities or colleges. They are like a mini accelerator. They don't necessarily fund you. They do offer funding, a small seed funding sometimes as well. For example, NSR IIM Bangalore had offered us 10 lakh rupees in seed funding, but that was going to be our monthly revenue at that point of time in 2016. So we didn't want to dilute any equity or something like that, and we went ahead only with the incubation offer, which gave us office space and mentoring facilities. So they also connect, incubation centers also connect you with the right kind of mentors in your segment. They also connect you with the right kind of other, founders and startups in your segment. And also a very cheap office space, a very affordable kind of an office space where you can grow and nurture as you move forward. So that's what an incubation usually is. And it's also at the same time, because we were an education company, it was also ratification of the idea in itself, coming from a place like IIM Bangalore, NSR IIM Bangalore, which basically said that, hey, this space exists and it is a viable business, it can grow, and they're doing well. And we also had access to a lot of academia and ex-entrepreneurs there that could help and guide us to make the right decisions and not falter like they had before, probably. So that's what an incubation is, as compared to an accelerator program that basically is primarily it funds you and moves you faster, and probably also helps you in hiring the right kind of people. Incubation does not necessarily do that.
How did the incubation period help you develop your idea with MyCaptain? And the reason I say that is because you said you guys did a magazine which failed. You guys did live events, which was not scalable. How did that incubation period help you transform that idea and make it a more structured idea?
So the thing, Trishank, is that we had met with someone called Mr. Nagarajan Prakasham, who is the main mentor at NSR IIM Bangalore. He's a he's a brilliant angel investor. I think he's on the board of Indian Angels Network as well. Is a great man. I mean, he's invested in, I think, 14, 15 different companies. And one of the first things that he told us, one of the first lessons that he told us was never do anything for free. Go and sell from day one. Although he's not a sales guy or something like that. He's a very social entrepreneurship kind of a guy, wears chappals to office, that kind of a guy. Very, very humble, son of a farmer kind of a guy, right? But the first thing that he told us was sell from day one. Don't do anything for free. You don't owe anyone anything for free. You might screw up real bad, but that's still fine, because now you've sold something to someone. They've given you money, so you're liable to deliver the best to them. So that also gives you a lot of pressure to deal with, right? Don't do anything for free. So we had started selling way before we pitched to IIM Bangalore at that point of time for the incubation. And the idea was mature. Our goal was very simple. Our vision still is the same. It says that we want to enable every human to pursue a career they truly love. And we wanted to meet that via our live courses or live workshops that we were doing online. And at that point of time, we didn't have a product. We didn't have anything at all. So we used that time in IIM Bangalore to build the product, right? But at the same time, we were selling. I was responsible for customer acquisition and sales and revenue. And at the end of the day, we were all fresh graduates, and our parents were not like, "Oh my God, we are going to give you money to support you in a city like Bangalore, which is on the costlier side. It's not as costly as Mumbai, but still it's on the costlier side. And so we had to sustain ourselves as well, which means our salaries came from the sales that we made at the end of the day, right? Correct. So that end responsibility fell on me. While as Samir and Fatima, my other two co-founders, Fatima is not with us anymore. She's moved on. She got married, and but we still identify her as co-founder, and she played a very pivotal role in the inception of the organization. So Fatima was chief design officer, and Samir was and is chief product officer. So they were building the product at that point of time, which was primarily the courses. We started from 5 courses. We ended up having 10 courses by the end of the year at that point of time. And then right now, we've had 50 plus courses, but then we've discontinued certain courses and scaled certain courses and whatnot. So it was a long journey there for 1.5 years, but we were selling so much that NSR Cell got a little frustrated. I mean, in a good way. They were like, there were other startups there. They were like, dude, how are you doing this? I mean, we're still in idea phase, and we're still, kind of discussing all the permutations and combinations of the strategy, the product market fit and whatnot. And we see that within 1 year in itself, you've been selling from day one vehemently. You have a business development team inside NSR Cell, which was crazy. That kind of forced NSR Cell to expand to another floor as well. We played a role of growth catalyst for NSR Cell at that point of time as well. We got the right space and the right amount of time as well to, kind of strengthen our basis, and also the credibility of being inside NSR Cell IIM Bangalore. When you're in education, you either need an association with the government or a great university or a great educational institute. And we were present inside, we were operating from inside NSR Cell IIM Bangalore. That gave us the confidence that, hey, we are on the right track and we're doing a great job. So, that's how NSR Cell helped us. And at the same time, it was also easier to get people to join us, because everyone dreamt of, working from an office that was probably in IIM Bangalore or, association with IIM Bangalore some way, and interns and whatnot. It was very easy for us at that point of time. We used that really, really well. So that's how NSR Cell helped us.
Before I get to customer acquisition and sales, because that's something that I want to touch on, I think the point that you brought up about going into sales and getting that pressure of people paying you is something that is not spoken of enough. Because when people talk of sales, they're like, paisa aega, paisa aega, paisa aega. I think it's so important to understand the pressure that comes in your head to deliver something and be liable to someone. Is so important, because that's like, now I need to deliver something good. Otherwise, how am I going to retain this customer, right?
Of course. In fact, I would give this advice to every budding entrepreneur. So the thing in India is, the problem in India, to some extent, I'm not saying it's a problem, but I'm saying that people take up a very tunnel kind of a vision when it comes to building a startup in India. They think and they assume that, hey, we're going to build a tech stack and it's going to be freaking awesome. Okay. And we're going to acquire the customer and give them a lot of free services and whatnot. We're going to acquire a potential customer and give them a lot of free services and whatnot. And then they're going to convert over time or something like that. So what you see eventually is startups that have bloated valuations, very high valuations for a small number of paid customers that they have had, right? And they have potential, they have users, they have millions and millions of users. But the thing with Indian customers is they do not necessarily pay. These are not customers in the West, which are very, 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 very well adept to digital platforms. Yes, there has been a transformation in India, no doubt, but markets don't change overnight. If Byju's had not taken the push sales kind of a model, they would not have been a $15 billion company right now. I mean, and the next education company that comes below Byju's there is Unacademy, which is at $2 billion in terms of valuation, but only 400,000 paid customers. They take the tech route. I like Unacademy as well, because they take a very tech first kind of a route. They're not like mera product le lo, mera product le lo, mera product le lo. They're more like, hey, this is what we have. Are you interested? This is what we have. Are you interested? And that's a longer game. And they're very lucky to be where they are. But Byju's took the more traditional business dhanda, right, methodology, and look where they are. They're the largest freaking education company in the world. They're the second most valued startup in India after Paytm, and they are going to overshoot that as well. They're going to go beyond that. They will go IPO next and they have associations with Disney. Shah Rukh Khan is on their cap table and on their, as their brand ambassador. They have acquired Akash Institute. You understand the scale that they're operating at, because they did in India, do as Indians do, right? Don't be like, oh my God, I'm going to do the e-commerce way or something like that. That is not something that really works. Yeah, obviously, if you have $1 million or like $50 million in the bank, and even if you're not selling, then you're still going to sustain. But in real business value, what's the transaction amount that has happened there is the question.
That brings me to your story, because you did not have that amount of money in your bank account. You were bootstrapped, as you were telling me at the start of this conversation. Let's talk about your customer acquisition journey. You have like 120,000 customers, paid customers on your platform, and you're bootstrapped. So you needed those sales to run your business. How did you go about acquiring these customers, especially in the early days? Because like you said, you were a fresh graduate.
We were very lean in our methodology, in the sense that we were not like, hey, we want to build this product and we want to sell this product. We were like, hey, we have this product and idea. Is it selling or not? And if it's selling, why are people buying it? So we exactly at all points of time knew why people were buying our product. This might seem very intuitive to you. You might be like, hey, you're a founder and you have a company and you own this particular product. You obviously know why people are buying your product. No, you do not necessarily. So I'll give you an example. For example, Cred, right? Cred is a great example in the startup ecosystem right now. Kunal Shah, the great genius, built Cred. And why do people subscribe to Cred? There was a segment of users that was subscribing to Cred because it said that it is a premium subscription. It's only for those people who have a CIBIL score of XYZ. So they were like, hey, this is my community, right? And some other people were subscribing to Cred because it was easy to get all of your credit card payments done from Cred. While as Cred says that, hey, you should subscribe to Cred because you'll get all of these free points and Cred coins and you'll be able to buy merchandise and whatnot. 70% or 60% or 50% or 40% of their users do not use the product for that particular unique selling proposition that they have. Do you understand? And you need to be able to listen to your customers and understand your customers for those things, right? Whenever you see a credit advertisement, it will talk about, hey, you're going to get Cred coins, because that is what it pitched to the investors as well. And that is what was very mouth-watering. But are all the users, the 1 million plus, 2 million plus, 3 million plus users that Cred has, are all the users using Cred for that? I don't think so. Right. Similarly, when it came to MyCaptain, we wanted to understand if people were using it to connect to, the mentors, only the mentors, okay, as a networking opportunity or whatnot. Turned out, no, they were really, really interested in learning. And the reason why they even entertained the mentors or something like that was because they were like, hey, these people are already doing what we want to do. And I want advice from them. I want to learn directly from them. I want to bridge this gap between academic learning and practical learning, what is being used inside the market right now. So that's what we scaled upon. And there were a lot of inputs from the students. They were like, hey, we also want recorded content from your side, because not every learner is the same kind of learner. Not every learner wants to attend a live class. Then the same people said, hey, we want internship opportunities as well to take the first step in your field. Then the same people said, hey, don't you have something professional in the field, a pro course or something like that in the field? So we launched as we went. We did not have we had a working hypothesis. We threw the hypothesis at the market, got an answer in a yes or a no in terms of if it sells or if it does not, and then worked on the yeses. If it's a no, you drop it. If it's a yes, you continue. And that's the lean startup methodology, and we were very successful in implementing it.
I love that strategy, but what I also want to ask you is, how did you approach that first customer?
While we were still in college, we kind of participated in a college fest. I don't remember the college fest name, but we put up a stall in the college fest and we started pitching to customers. So the thing very clearly here is that while we were lucky, the strategy was simple. We knew where our target customers were. We knew that college and school students are our target customers. Where do you target college and school students? Inside their colleges and inside the schools. Instead of spending a lot of advertising money online, trying to target that 18 to 22 segment. And then within that segment, you need to be going to a college or a university or whatnot. We simply worked on the fact that, hey, word of mouth works really, really well. in this particular segment, and our customers are within a very, like, I have in an SRM university or in a Delhi university, I have 20,000 potential customers sitting right there within, within 2 acres of land, right? Can I cover it? Can I cover it via my online targeting as well? So in the early initial days, we used to do a lot of geotag, kind of targeting. You'd be like, okay, take out the locations of 100 plus colleges, target them specifically, only the colleges, only the 2 mile radius around the colleges. And at the same time, we'd also have a huge campus partner model, campus ambassador model within those colleges working. So everything was working at the same time, right? So everything was working in tandem. Even today, 35% of our customers do come from, our campus ambassador model, because this is word of mouth. And then there is 20% referrals as well that come in from students who are already in college. But the early initial days are where you identify where your customers are going to be. You go there either physically or virtually. Okay. You talk to them, you pitch to them, you try to sell. They say no, fuck off, which is good, right? Why? Because when they say, bugger off, you understand, and you try to understand why they're saying bugger off. You understand where is your product, where does your product need more work, or where does your pitch need more work. So you get marketing insights and you get product insights at the same time. Talk to your customers as much as possible. Get rejected to your face. That's better, way better than being like, hey, I've built a product and people are just blind to not buy my product.
Something super interesting you brought up is that MyCaptain focuses on a lot of offbeat career, non-traditional careers, right? At the start of the podcast, before this call, you mentioned that you were interested in writing, but being in India, your parents told you to do engineering. Now the question that comes up is, you are not only selling to students, you're also selling to their parents. How do you take that into consideration? What do you have to tell students and parents whose children are interested in these offbeat careers?
Very interesting question. Very nice question. Okay, so I very rarely get asked this question in this kind of a way. So the answer is simple. See, the thing is, our courses, we made them non-intensive and yet intensive with a particular goal. How? So what we did was we made them intensive by making them 1 month long programs where the student has to spend at least 15 to 20 hours to go through everything. And you have live classes as well, right? Which makes it intensive. You have to be somewhere at a particular time and you have to interact with someone 8 times, 10 times, 12 times a month. And you also have to do certain projects and whatnot. And at the same time, we wanted it to be non-intensive because the primary problem parents have is, मेरे बच्चे की पढ़ाई में आंच नहीं आनी चाहिए. ठीक है, तुम entrepreneurship सीखो, learn entrepreneurship or learn how to create content, but it should not affect your marks or it should not affect your academic learning. So we had to find the right kind of balance as per the demand in itself, as per the market in itself, to make sure that not only are we making the students happy, but also their parents happy. Now it's a play of words. The parents look at it as hobby classes. The students look at it as career exploration, right? So they when the student tells their parent, I want to do this entrepreneurship ka course hai online, or I want to do this event management ka course online, the parent is like, acha theek hai, bachcha hobby seekh raha hai side by side. But how it is being pitched to the students is that it is exploration. It's going to help you explore which particular, and that is how the students also buy it. And mind me also, all of these students are from the age group of 17 to 24.
Correct.
So they're not exactly school students. There is a 20% population from school as well, 11th 12th graders, 10th 11th 12th graders. But ऐसा नहीं है कि उनके पेरेंट्स उन पे हमेशा नजर रखते हैं कि यार तुम क्या कर रहे हो. Most of them live in hostels. They live at home as well, and they have an app to do this, right? And the parent is like, ठीक है, TV नहीं देख रहा है, TV series नहीं देख रहा है, he's not watching Game of Thrones or something like that. He's not
doing something productive.
He's doing something productive. It's an education app. It's a learning kind of a system. He's going to get a certification as well later on. Yeah, right. And what we've also seen very interestingly, देखो, Trishank, and this is something I know that I'm extending the time for this question, but I want to cover this. My generation, when my parents, my parents are pretty old in terms of their thought process as well. Their answer to a question like, hey, I want to become a writer, is going to be very different from what parents in this generation in this time are looking at. When Whitehead Jr. put out those ads saying, hey, Sundar Pichai, your kid could be the next Sundar Pichai. While everyone in the industry, including that very huge, lawsuit as well that followed later on, they criticized Whitehead Jr. for that kind of advertising. There's a very interesting customer insight there. Why would Whitehead Jr. put out ads saying your kid could be the next Bill Gates and see parents actually buying such stuff? Because while in the past, parents wanted you to be the next ITJ engineer, now parents want you to be the next entrepreneur, want you to be the next Sachin Bansal, right? They saw that जिस चीज को हम अय्याशी या आवारी कहा करते थे 10 साल पहले, उसने तो सचिन बंसल को बिलियनर बना दिया, $1 billion plus ज्यादा बनाकर दे दिए, right? Sachin Bansal had a faster trajectory than Ratan Tata when it comes to personal wealth creation or something like that, right? In terms of sheer speed and velocity. So they see it as, they have started seeing it as viable career options as well. They know what's happening. That is why they're buying these Whitehead Junior classes, I'm not talking about coding only. There are also startups that are doing personality development and entrepreneurship for kids and whatnot, critical thinking for kids. Why are parents buying these things for their kids? Because they have gone through all of those situations. They know exactly what the new generation wants.
This actually brings me to another interesting point, and that's the transformation of getting a degree. Like, do you think the importance is shifting from getting a degree, especially because of the boom in this EdTech space?
Of course, there's no doubt about it. So we're not there yet. There are these players in the market like Upgrad and Simply Learn that focus on getting a degree, right? A certification course with a degree or something like that. MyCaptain took a very different approach. MyCaptain said, hey, we're not going to get you a degree, but we're going to get you a ratified course, even if it's a professional course, a 3-month, 4-month long professional course worth $20K. We're going to get you a ratified course by a company, like Terribly Tiny Tales or Zerodha or whatever, probably even Cred in the future or whatnot, right? But not an educational institution. You get it? Because eventually you're going to get a job, or you're going to look for a job in a company, right? And if we create a course with a company, that means that all the skills that are being taught there and all the learning approaches that are being given, or the modules that have been created, are as per the newest industry requirements, right?
I think the big focus over here is going to come on companies, because those are the ones who hire you, and those are the ones that require a degree from you. I think the prime example over here is Google, because they came up with a course which they're saying, if you finish this course, Google will start hiring you. That's a very small step in the right direction, and it's also one of the biggest companies. But I think when smaller companies transition into this, it will become a bigger thing.
I think smaller companies have already transitioned into this, Trishank. So if you see all startups, most startups that you're looking at right now, look at two things: skill set and experience. They do not care about the degree that you have. At MyCaptain, even if you don't have a degree, you can get hired for, at a very good managerial position as well, given that you have something that you've done before, right? So I think that transition is happening. We're not there yet. I would say over a scale of 0 to 10, we are at 2.5 right now, or 3 right now. But dude, even 3 is really great. Some years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were at 0 or 0.5. Things are changing fast. The startup economy is changing. This entrepreneurship boom and creator boom and gig economy is coming in. Freelancers are coming in. So this phase shift is going to happen really fast. And in India, because you have a lot of dekha dekhi, isne kiya, maine kiya, the network effect is faster than we anticipate in your general markets.
Talking about so many startups, you mentioned so many edtech startups itself in this conversation. You want to talk about how you differentiate MyCaptain from all of them?
Most of your edtech startups, 99% of your edtech startups in India are either in the K-12 segment or in the test preparation segment, right? When I talk about the K-12 segment, you've got your Byju's, you've got your QMath, all of the who's and who's in the segment in itself. They prepare you for getting better marks in your CBSE or ICSE or NCRT exams. It's very simple. When it comes to test prep, you've got things like an academy, right? Then you have certain few startups like Front Row and Masterclass and all of these startups that have come up last year primarily in India. For example, there is Front Row, there is Unlu classes, there is celebrityschool.in, there is Social Swag. All the four do the same freaking thing. What do? They bring celebrities, record content with celebrities, and sell them as courses. It's the same model of Masterclass. Okay, Masterclass did it way back in 2016-17 and killed it. Okay, with it internationally, and these people are doing it in India. And the first player that did it in India is dead by now. Their name is Mento.co.in. They started with the name of Grades Don't Matter, gradesdon'tmatter.in in 2017, but they rebranded to mento.co.in. And they were the first players. Varun Agarwal, he was the first player to make a move in this particular segment. He created a rip-off, not a rip-off, like a clone of Masterclass in India with the best celebrities and influencers, right from Ritesh Agarwal, who's the co-founder and CEO of, was the CEO of Oyo, co-founder of Oyo, and people like Alicia Souza in the world of illustration, whatnot. They price it at 400, 500 rupees. And this segment is called the leisure learning segment, on the side. MyCaptain is more serious learning. Okay, it's not leisure learning, it's not part-time learning, it's more serious learning. We have live classes. We are in the non-academic, non-tech careers, primarily focused in non-tech careers and non-tech fields. We are non-academic in nature. We are very hands-on in nature. We are not video content courses. We mix synchronous and asynchronous learning together, which is live classes and recorded content. And at the same time, we get our courses ratified by the best of the best companies in the industry that, very industry focused. What I can do tomorrow is I can just, raise some funds and get 20 celebrities on board and make 2-hour long content with them and then put that content for free. What is the defensibility of the other products there, right? It's very possible. It's not as if the celebrities are doing live classes with them. It's not as if the celebrities are making 15-hour long content with them, which would have been crazy. It's a 1.5 hour long, 2 hour long content program, and I can literally get celebrities on board. And yeah, they have great production quality. But does the Indian audience really care about great production quality? Is the question. Right? Not necessarily. Indian audience cares about two things. One, outcome. मुझको सीखने को मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा. Right? Number two, कितने का है. That's all. These are the two things that the Indian audience cares about. And I think that's how we differentiate ourselves. But it'll be very interesting to see how, these leisure learning classes or, clones of Masterclass kind of rise up.
Super interesting. We've learned a lot about MyCaptain today. I have a last couple of questions for you. One, you mentioned you want to become a writer at the start of the podcast. Is that going to happen in the next couple of years?
Yeah, of course. So the thing with me was I'm a very different kind of a writer. I was involved in theater for a long time in Kashmir. I was trained in theater, in-depth training for a couple of years at the Ensemble Kashmir Theatre Academy. Did a lot of plays. I used to write a lot of plays as well. Then I'd also written a novel back in, I think in my 10th, 11th grade. It was a romantic comedy, rom-com kind of a novel. At that point of time, I was, I think, 15 years old or something. It was literally pen and paper novel. An entire big diary had been filled. But, that kind of given me an idea that I can do fiction as well. So I've written a lot of short stories in English that I want to publish. Then there are, I think, 70 to 80 poems in English and Urdu, both that are waiting to get published. I write in English, Urdu, and Farsi, 3 languages. I'm a language buff. I love learning languages. So English, Urdu, Farsi, Arabic, Kashmiri, Hindi, a little bit of Punjabi, a little bit of Bengali. So I just love learning more and more languages. So I write in 2 to 3 different languages. Also, I have some ideas of non-fiction books. One book, especially around the EdTech boom in India, will be very interesting because I have a lot of gossip. It's like a golden tap. There is this book called The Golden Tap by an investment banker that was written about startups in India at that point of time. I think 2000, during the boom of e-commerce and whatnot, 2010, 11 or 12 is when it was released. Not sure. I'd read that. I was very inspired and I wanted to do something in those lines for the edtech segment, because education has been is the new sexy in India. So those are certain things that I'm trying to work on. But deadline dates, I have not set deadline date for that right now. We're just closing our investment rounds. We are looking at raising some investments right now, and we're just closing that. As soon as that is done, and as soon as a very strong team comes on board as well, is when I'll start looking at these things. And then also personal life also requires a lot of attention. So yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, wishing you the best of luck for it, and I look forward to reading that book soon. But the last question that I have for you is, what is one advice you wish you had received before you started your journey?
Oh my God. That's like a meta level question. There's every day there is something that we learn and we say, oh my God, why didn't someone say this to us back in the day?
Exactly.
So what the advice that we received was focus on customers, and customer money is king. But right now I feel that we should have raised some investments before as well. So the advice that I would have really yearned for is someone slapping us on the face and saying, hey Ruhan, you take care of customer acquisition and whatnot, and let Zishan and Samir raise investments at that point of time. 2017 or 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. We came to the investment game a little late. If we had raised investments, everyone would have known about MyCaptain right now, because we have the customer traction. We would still have the customer traction, but bolstered with a lot of marketing money to be spent, millions of dollars, crores and crores to be spent on the brand awareness level of the funnel. And that would have been really exciting. But I also am a believer in in fate, in terms of whatever happens for the greater good. Probably we would not have seen customer traction as much as we see right now if we had raised investment at that point of time. We would have been stuck in the free user base kind of a system. But that's mainly the advice that someone would have. So if there is a budding entrepreneur here, I would say sell from day one, and sell to both investors as well as customers. Right? Not just customers.
I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you so much, Ruhan, for coming on the Career Show. It's been an honor to have you. It's been a breath of fresh air talking to you as well, Drishank. All the best for your journey as you move forward. And, I hope we get to meet again. Definitely. Look forward to staying in touch.
I hope you enjoyed this week's career discussion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot.